back with another episode.
Yeah.
Another week, another guest. This guy made the troop.
Yeah.
And a lot of you artists, you know, talk about no platforms, this, that, and the third. This man made the journey down here just to promote himself, to tell his story. And I appreciate that. It shows a lot of dedication to your craft.
No doubt. Thank you for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the people?
My name is Wild Woods from New York City, but currently live in Lake Placid, New York. It's about 2.5 hours away. Basically, I used to play ball a lot growing up in the city. That's the only thing to do. Play ball or do other things. But really, I started really getting into the music as far as like really being serious, like maybe about 2000, right after high school. You know? Stuff like that. So like we were just saying before we started, like the landscape of music from when you started to where you are to where it is today, right, has shifted greatly. And I wanted to kind of get into like who were the people that influenced you to like get into music. Man, you got Biggie, you got Hove, Jay-Z. I'm a big Fabulous fan. Yeah. And then we can even take it back. I'm talking like Onyx. Oh shit! You take KRS-One. You know, I'm from that. I'm early '80s. You know what I'm saying? Like classic, you know, rap shit. And you know, but basically, like my top 5, if I had to pick who really got me going, it would be Jay-Z, Fabulous, Biggie. I'm an East Coast dude. Yeah. Big Pun, Jadakiss. Oh. Yeah, that's raw New York. Yeah, that's man. Raw New York right there. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's a vintage sound right there. That's it's weird to see where it shifted to like from that sound into what it's developed to. Because I was talking to these guys from Without Warning podcast. Right. Great podcast, you gotta check it out. But we were talking about like the genres of music, right? And how hip hop and R&B has just been all shoved under one genre. Sure. Like, and you can go from a Tupac song to a Lil Pump song in the same playlist, and it's just like these things don't connect. Yeah. And it's like it's kind of aggravating for me because you see all this music like rock and roll and jazz and blues music. Everything has a subcategory. You can find anything you want. You can like take the stuff that you didn't like about rock and roll and leave it completely out, and just jam out to Fleetwood Mac or fucking or whoever you want to listen to. Right. But with hip hop and R&B, you don't know what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays, man. Exactly. And it's like I don't like to necessarily hate because it's like it's just not what I grew up with. You know, I feel like I'm the same way. Trust me. Yeah, it's just like I'm not hating. It's like I appreciate, you know, what the new form of art is because these kids can really promote themselves. I like that. And it's crazy. Like someone who just consistently puts out music, like maybe a Lil Nas X or a Lil Yachty has been putting it out on SoundCloud for like 4 or 5 years, and all of a sudden that one thing hits. Right. You know what I mean? Man, I'm from an era where I remember when everybody called themselves Little This, Little That. You know, when I was coming up, it was Lil Wayne, and that was it. You know, ever since Lil Wayne, it was everybody starting like, so it's a fad. It's like it's a trend. You know, it was the little this, little that, and now you got this drill rap. You got this, you know, the tight pants and you know, the design and shit is a fad. The internet, like I said, never loses. So, you know, when you're trying to keep up with a certain fad and a certain trend, you got these new artists that they see it. So it's like, oh, I got to do this. You got a whole bunch of new artists coming out. Oh, these guys are popping pills or they drinking scissor and, you know, shit like that. You know, it's all following a trend. Like these artists the whole music is turning from being lyrical to me, from being lyrical to just being like, oh, I want to sound like that. I don't care what I say. I just want to sound like what the sound is. You know, I'm all about lyrics, bars, meaning. You gotta have that grit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have meaning in your bars. That's what I appreciate in hip hop is like because I got into, in my early high school years, I really started getting into battle rap. And I think that is like one of the most intense performances that's out there. Like I understand like comedians probably have the second worst job or second best job, worst job, hardest job as far as performances go, because you're trying to make someone laugh. You know what I mean? So everyone has a different sense of humor, but when it's battle rap, you got to remember your lines. You have to sometimes throw in a freestyle if someone started getting at you in the last round. And then you got to, with emotion and feeling and keeping your composure and stuff like that.
I was like, bro, I'm fucking sweating when I see like Shotgun Suge tap someone's pockets. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, it's a different kind of atmosphere. I'm gonna give a big shout out to Sean Rap Battles, Jordan and Mel. You know, I did a couple of rap battles, and you know, we had an instance in Lake Placid, you know, where we had a rap battle, and it was two guys, they had original beef, you know, and there was rules to, you know, you shouldn't say this, you can't. I feel in rap battle, everything's a go.
Yeah,
you know, like if you go and battle somebody, your mom's, your kid, your auntie with 3 legs, they in it. You know, they're gonna get talked about. You know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
This is battle rap.
This is battle rap. You gotta pull your panties up. So long story short, you know, one thing was said to another, and punches got thrown, and it kind of ruined the whole kind of event. You know, but the whole battle rap shit, like you said, man, is like it's a different area for me as far as like music. You know, battle rap, I went against this guy named Money Waters. Good dude, my age, I'm 38. He's up there with me. He's a gentleman. So when I went at him, it was more of a, you know, we had that kind of respect. If I was to say anything disrespectful, he knew it wasn't that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's part of the performance.
Right. It comes with age. It comes with wisdom. But then you got some of these young guys that's 20, 21. I'm not you know, shitting on them or anything, but they have this
shorter temper,
ego.
Yep.
You know, it's this. Oh, he's told my mother suck his dick. You know, and it's off with his head. You know, so that battle rap shit, like you said, I'll be watching, you know, URL, and I'm seeing these dudes sugar tapping nigga pockets and give them a little, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm waiting for a cross, you know, and Smack just cool and calm. Cause he know, you know, I think he has that confidence that it won't get to that, you know, and I rarely see anything like that.
I think it's like, because it's like it's gonna fuck up the money for everybody.
Exactly.
Like,
who wants to fuck up the money? Don't fuck up the money.
Yeah, this is a performance. You got everyone, like, I want to go to one of these so bad just to stand in the crowd because the energy. Yeah. It's like all these people are hearing bars. Yeah. Like it's not a little. No, this is like bars. Like this is coming in over your head. We're doing sports references, movie references, TV references.
Name drops, all that.
Exactly. It's just like you're talking about double, triple entendres, and it's like, how are these guys just to diss another man? Like I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Like the battle that stuck with me the most is fucking A-Verb versus Hitman Holla in the St. Louis. I was like, this is pivotal rap battle. These are two people that have known each other for their entire lives and had a beef.
Yeah, classic.
I just like my hands on my head the whole time, just like talking about personal shit. And you know these niggas is talking about personal
some real shit. Like, they know each other.
Their faces are getting turned up.
Exactly.
And just the way A-Verb ended it was just like, I was just like, this is a classic battle.
Yeah.
Like as far as like rap battle goes, like, you know what I mean? This is up there. Because it's like, you look at this stuff and it's like, and like I was saying, it's just like for lyricism, like I think this is where we started. It's just like these bars, you know what I mean? It's just like people like, I'm 24, so it's like I'm obviously younger, but like the people that I like grew up listening to that were just so lyrical with it was the Kendrick Lamars, the Lupe Fiascos, the J. Cole's.
Perfect. I was just about to say, I gotta say J. Cole. Yeah, niggas nasty.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And then you just got the people who are just like, especially the old like K. Dot before Kendrick. Yeah, you know what I mean? In Compton, like it's just like
that was a phase. That was just a phase, you know.
And it's just like the artistry behind it. I feel like music is a beautiful storytelling medium.
Of course.
Like the way that like some of these albums are done, like the last one that really stuck with me was God Money War by King Los.
Oh, you're a Los fan?
Yeah, I'm a Los fan. Okay. I'm not a Diddy fan because I think he fucked up that promotion for that guy. Like I'm just like, come on, man. This is a guy who just gave bars and just told a beautiful story. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people get lost in this like, there are turn-up songs, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, they're appropriate for the club and shit like that.
But you gotta have some other kind of wave.
Yeah, I know. It's just like the album, to me, is a beautiful way to tell a story. Like, Good Kid, Mad City. Front to back, you listen through that album and that story is being told to you.
Right, you can understand it.
Some of these albums are lacking that interlude from beat to beat, from story to story. Right. How are we getting here? Right. How is this evolving? You know what I mean? You go from the soft music kind of love song to the aggression that comes out of it. And it's like, I feel like a lot, I generalize, but to me, I haven't heard an album that like really just like incorporates a story.
Right.
You know what I mean? With the visuals, with the way the album's set up. People, I feel like when I listen to a lot of these rappers that are streaming and stuff like that, like it just seems like they threw it together.
Yeah, just to put it out.
They front loaded it, like, you know what I mean? Because like they probably did the numbers and say on average I get 3, you know, the first 3 songs get played the most, so I'm gonna front end load the album and stuff like that. And it's like, I just really I like a story. You
gotta have material. Like me and my dude Flubs, we just put out a mixtape a long time coming. We got it on SoundCloud, Bandcamp. And, you know, we've been working on that shit for like, I want to say like 17, 18 months, almost 2 years. And just trying to put out good material. I mean, we had 30 songs, you know, and from 30 songs we took 12 because we wanted to put out good material. We could have threw out a song a year and a half ago, you know, a couple of months ago, and it wouldn't have been, you know, what it was. It would have been, okay, let's do this. But we just kept getting better every year or every month. We kept doing songs. So we wanted to put out the best material we can, because you don't want to put out no soft shit. You know, if you're putting out a mixtape from track 1 to track 12, like you said, it's just tell a story. If you're putting out something that's going from soft and then you got, you know, turn up, then back to soft, it's like you lose people. And another thing I'm trying to do too, bro, is I'm trying to change the music, because now, like, everybody, like you said, everybody want this turn up gangster, you know, all this gun shooting up shit. Like sometimes, like, you want to make an album or you want to get seen by labels, you got to show how you can change, you know, how you can
your
switch it up. Exactly. Like they don't want to sign nobody that's always talking about shooting shit up or selling drugs, even though that might have been the way he came up, and that's all the dude know, you know. But you got to sell yourself to other people too, you know. There's other markets out there.
Yeah, I think some of these labels and artists especially, like more along the lines, look out for these artists, have to understand how to evolve out of the situations they come from, because a lot of these people are putting themselves in terrible situations. Shit. Like look at what Bobby Shmurda went through. I mean, for Christ's sakes, like just like the rebirth of New York, really, in my opinion. Like I was like, we're about to have a lot of gangster rap from
this shit about to be crazy
from the hood. And I'm just like, I hang out a lot of people from that area, from the Bronx, Pelham, fucking Brooklyn and stuff like that.
You all in the boroughs, yeah.
I'm not in it, but I have so many friends that are, and that just like tell me these stories about how crazy it used to be before a lot of these places are starting to get gentrified and stuff. And it's like you could have put yourself in such a better position. Like 6ix9ine, like I get it, you did some shit, but like he could have dropped that shit as soon as like the investigation started. You know what I mean? But like stop trying to be gangster. Like, you know what I mean? You can be the kid with the rainbow hair who talks about gang shit but is not involved. Like this is a different time. You know what I mean?
He's still a rat.
Yeah, you know, exactly. But I'm just saying, as far as like, you could have backed off before it got there. You know what I mean? You're talking 6 number 1s in a row. Like, come on.
He was
like,
killing it.
You have a hot hand. Like, just give it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about millions of dollars, the potential to be one of the biggest artists ever. You're on a roll, and all you did was for nothing. You know what I mean?
You put on a facade of something that you really wasn't, and it kicked them right in the ass. And that goes with the whole music, trying to, you know, be a trendsetter. Yeah. That dude by far was no way any kind of a gang member. You could look at him straight up and down and be like, you're not a gang member.
Gang members, to me, you could really tell. It's like, if I look at people and I'm just like, how am I gonna fare in a fist fight? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, as soon as, like, depending how he raises his hands, is like, all right. You know what I mean?
We might have a problem.
We might have an issue here.
Right,
you know
might
go
down.
I'm throwing low kicks and I'm going for takedowns. You know what I mean? I ain't fighting this man.
Right,
like,
it's going down. You gotta play dirty.
He has 100 slapboxing matches under his belt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of these people, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you look at him and it's like, there's no way this 90-pound kid with rainbow hair is a gang member.
You know? And it goes with the whole, you know, situation with trying to be a trendsetter. You know, from what I was told, he's paying dues to be a blood, and you know that shit is, if you gotta be something that you're not in order to get in life, I mean, whatever the case may be, to each his own. But in that dude's, you know, particular sense, like, I just feel like, you know, he got what he got what he deserved.
Definitely, he had that coming.
If you know, if you're from New York City, man, you see a rat in the street, man, it's off with his head. So if I was him, I wouldn't even come back to New York. But I heard he's getting out next month, so you know, whatever.
I don't know what's gonna happen with him. That's a dangerous situation.
Yeah,
you can't. The thing about, like, the criminal underworld, like, it's always gonna exist. I understand it, in the sense of like this stuff is going to exist. You got to, understand that there's always going to be an illegal aspect to everything.
Oh, of course.
So it's like,
of course,
you just got to be careful with it. And it's like, I try to like, to me, it's like, I hope some people can understand it. Like before, when it's like, I feel like in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, gangs were a little bit more sophisticated with OGs wanting the people under him to go to school and get educations. Where now it's like you in the 90s, it's like, oh, you got to shoot niggas. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
Like I'm just like, yo, you tore yourself apart in the aspect of like a lot of these people who sell weed and sell drugs don't understand the business behind it. You know what I mean? By the names they give their weed or their drugs. You know what I mean? Which is now a brand. You know what I mean?
Right.
The fact that they're selling them in dimes and nicks instead of at the quarter ounce or the ounce because they're making more profit about it.
Right.
This is a business. You know what I mean? So
it's like Frank Lucas.
Exactly. So it's like you got to look at it like a business.
Right.
And a lot of these people are like, oh, I'm not smart enough for school and stuff like that. And it's like, come on, man. Like you're putting yourself under here, where in reality it's like you can get out of the illegality of it,
right? And
now look at it in the legal sense to be like, oh, weed's becoming legal. I already know how to market names because I already know if I say sour, niggas is gonna come to the door and be like, yo, give me that sour.
Right.
You know, and it's just like I look at like Burner. Do you know who Burner is?
Burner, no.
California rapper. He started like a brand called Cookies, and he's like a relatively good rapper. He just plugged into the California weed scene since he was like 18, 20 or something like that. But he was able to turn drug dealing into brand making and creation now with the Cookies clothing and the Cookies brand of weed.
Smart.
Like, so it's like, look at that, and like this is what we want to flip into. Like I understand, like you said, a lot of these people grow up with this lifestyle that isn't the best hand. That's what they know. Facts. Right? But then they get this opportunity, and I wish like the people, not necessarily around them, I guess it would be around them, would just be like, yo, you got an opportunity, I'm gonna back off. Like, you don't want to be a part of this life. A lot of these people just hop on the train and be like, I don't give a fuck if I'm on probation.
Right.
The legality of it, you know what I mean? Saying that everyone can get searched on this bus just because I'm involved. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of people get screwed over with that stuff. Like the searches on the planes and tour buses. Lil Wayne got knocked.
Right.
T.I. got knocked.
What's the name just died because he's already swallowed some perks.
Yeah. So it's like all these things is like, you guys gotta just chill out. Like, you know what I mean? And like this drug shit, like you see all these rappers like kind of ODing and like going through this drug stuff, and it's like, I wish they just understood that it's just like, to me it's like everything in moderation. Like you can die from drinking too much.
Right.
You know what I mean? And alcohol is the most readily available drug out there. You can buy it everywhere.
Right.
But you can die from that shit. But you don't want to be like that all the time. And it's like, you want to pop a perk? I'm not here to tell you not to. I'll tell you it's bad for you if you're my friend.
Right.
But
to each his own.
To each his own. But like, understand, if you take 10 of those motherfuckers, you will die.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna seize and you're gonna die.
It's like, this is not how it works. Like these things from even drugs back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Like those shits could kill you.
Yeah.
Now this stuff is legal, over the counter, more powerful.
This lean, I'm hearing this. Yeah. You got the Xanax,
Xans, the perks
and all that shit. And from what I'm seeing now, the culture is, these young dudes, they take it in and make them go harder in the booth, and make them feel, it expresses more of bars when they speak, because it eases them and it makes them more, that shit is corny.
Mm-hmm.
If you gotta dirty yourself with all this narcotics and all this other shit to write a 16 or whatever the case may be, fine, that's on you. Me, I'm original. I'll go in there, I'll smoke a blunt, cloud my head, I'll sit down with a pen and I'm good. All that other opiate shit, like I said, everybody to each his own, but that's just not the way. I wouldn't personally go in the studio with 2 cups of promethazine and a couple of pills of Percocets and call myself trying to do a song. Like I couldn't even function to even get in the booth. I
can't even think of things that rhyme.
Exactly.
Nevertheless, the creation of a song and a vibe, but like you said, to each his own. And like I think the times changed, because it was like before it was like, I think people get it messed up because I was saying before, it's like it went from selling drugs to taking drugs, but really it was just like, there was a lot of people selling drugs and taking their drugs too, like cocaine, crack, heroin, like all that. You know what I mean? And like, and the things changed. Like when it was the 70s and 80s, like people were selling, and then late 80s, 90s, people started
using
taking
it. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then it went from tight clothes from like the jazz disco era, like people like wearing their hair up, tight shirts and stuff like that. Then it went to the baggy. Now
jeans.
We're back to the tight.
Now we're back to the fitted.
Yeah. So it's like it's like a circle, and you just see this thing rotating, and it's like. There's a great quote that everything in history's happened before. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you look at it as you get older, and you're lean back, and you're like, motherfucker.
Yo, that happened a couple years. Oh, look at this trend coming back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you gotta, like, I'm very, like you said, like, I'll be very observant about like what's going on as far as like, you know, trends and shit that's happened before, and you know, as musically and drugs wise too, but musically first, like. You know, I'll see a couple of guys, like I live in upstate New York, Lake Placid, and predominantly white. predominantly white. And, you know, a couple of guys up there, they, you know, I get them into the whole rap situation. They have bars, you know, they just need, you know, that big brother kind of push and shit. Yeah. So, you know, their thoughts of rap greats, you know, these are young guys, is, you know, the Kendrick Lamars and stuff like that, you know, I understand that. But, you know, when I came up there, I started to bring the Biggie, and, you know, let them listen to a couple of Jay-Z. And these guys are born, you know, I don't know how old you are. You say you're 24?
Yeah.
So around what, 94 you was born? 95? 95, so about your age.
Yeah.
But you know, some of these guys, they didn't even know, you know, Biggie, Tupac, you know, and it's kind of like, yowzers. So up there, it's kind of hard for me to get that kind of gentrification, you know, as far as like...
You'd be surprised even down here. Like I was saying, I was talking to these guys.
Not in Albany. Come on.
You'd be surprised. The kids I talked to, like I had, not kids, but like younger than me, 21, 22. Right. You'd call us kids. But they were saying that they gave their top 5 and none of the classics were in there. Like they're talking about Wayne, Thug, yeah, but you got to understand from where they're coming from. These are, and I asked them, like, you didn't even name the greats, but it's like, they're being honest about it. It's like, those aren't the people I listen to. Right. That's not the stuff I vibe with. That's not the stuff me and my boys listen to together and sing the song along to. And it's like, to me, because I'm like you, just like, you didn't even name you ain't nobody. Yeah, and it's like, but crazy. It's like, I appreciate the honesty of it, and I have to think about it in that perspective. If I wasn't the person I was, to be like, let me listen further back, let me look at some of this stuff. Let me go a little back, yeah. And like, hear some of this stuff, it's like, I'd never know. You know what I mean? So like, to me, I have probably, as far as like rap albums, Wayne's Carter 3 is in the top 5 for me.
Classic.
Because of the club. But other people, I talk to some people, it's like, get that shit out of here. That's not even top 10. It's like, I understand where you're coming from because you've lived through this era. Like, if like we were to have a basketball debate and I was like, yo, LeBron's the best, you might have a different opinion.
I'm a LeBron fan, yeah.
But some people are Jordan people because they lived through the Jordan era. Yeah. Some people are Tyson fan and being like, oh, you know, Deontay Wilder, best heavyweight ever. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Because it's like, there's so many heavyweights that are so much more legendary than him, but no one has the knockouts that he has.
Tyson.
And so it's like, you look at it and it's like, you can see the argument for everything. It just depends when you were alive for.
Right.
You know, if you're not really interested in the history of it and you're just like, you know, because the internet's the internet. Right. And everyone has an opinion and can put it out there now. You have all these people who don't even mention, you know, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Larry Birds, you know,
Karl Malones, you know, the classics,
Sussex, you know, or even the people that didn't really do as much, but the Steve Kerrs, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and the fucking, this is killing me. I can't even fucking remember his name. Starts with an H. Fuck.
Horace Grant, you got a whole bunch
Grant,
of
thank
Horace
you.
Grant. Yeah. I could go on.
Yeah, so it's like, you have these greats, and you know, these people are like, yo, the Kobe's, the LeBrons. It's like the Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it's like, the game is bigger. Yeah. Like, I understand the advancement of it because it's like, people look at these skills that melded together, right? You have like Tyson and like, I keep going basketball, boxing because I'm just a sports fanatic, but you see what Tyson Fury's able to do at fucking 6'9", stick and jab and move, and it's like, we haven't seen heavyweights to really do that.
Right.
Like he's
one of the first to do that.
Yeah. He's taking the classic European style boxing, but putting some fucking spice on that shit.
For sure.
You know what I mean? His hands are lightning fast. He's tall. He can move.
Quick as fuck.
So it's like you look at that, but then you take it back, right? The Sonny Listons, right? You have the Kovalevs of the world. You know what I mean? You have Lomachenko. You know, so you see all these like styles, and you can go back to the pure. And then you can look at the combination and the evolvement of the sport. Because I try to like show people, especially my son, like I try to like show him the older stuff to be like, these are the basics. Like Larry Bird wasn't the handling god,
right?
But he had the formative shot
of the world, bro.
So you could base the structure off just teaching your kids. Like I understand, like Steph Curry, like everyone has the 30 trying to be like Curry, just like everyone had the 3 and was trying to be AI, right?
Yeah.
These things always repeat themselves. So it's like, but you take it back and it's like, just do the basics amazing.
Right.
You don't need to be
Extra,
one guy.
right.
Because I remember in the 2000s, I'm sure you do too. You played basketball in New York City. And one was the shit.
Yes.
I didn't play basketball in the early 2000s for that reason. I got crossed one time horribly.
The professor, you got all that. Yeah, I remember that. It was all in New York City.
Your knees hit each other and you're off to the
Buckle
side.
And shit, yeah, and laughing at you and all that shit.
So like, I remember that, the baggy shirts under the fucking shirt, around the fucking waist. I'm just like,
you took it back.
Like, yeah, so it's like you see these skills evolve, but people don't, because I would see that in my middle school games, people thinking they're and one people, and it's like, you haven't mastered the basics.
Yeah, trying to be something you're not. You got to crawl before you walk, as I would say. You got to crawl before you walk.
And where to apply these things. Because we think about handles, and some of these kids would just freeze as soon as a big guy got on them. Right. Like someone who's taller and heavier.
Yep.
That stuff's not going to work.
So it's like, yeah, you're right.
So it's like everything needs to apply. So it's like to look back, and I try to like base it in like, I understand everyone looks forward. It's hard to look back in the past and be like, okay, this is what these are the greats.
This is how it started.
This is how it transcended. So it's like you look at rap and like people don't even like, it's so hard to even talk hip hop without like getting angry. Like you said, when I said thug, you were just like,
not dog.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think he's the worst rapper. I'm sorry. I'm that's just my opinion. I just don't, like I told you, I'm more of a Jadakiss Fabulous kind of grit kind of rapper.
Yeah.
Not my kind of,
I understand it, because the way it was explained to me was just like the way he's been able to change fashion from the just like tight designer wearing clothes, the ability to bring up the other rappers around him to kind of run a label similar to way Birdman and Wayne Cash Money Young.
Guy.
So it's smart, just
financially,
not
my cup of tea. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't try to take things away from those types of people.
Never.
Right?
Never.
So I'm not a big Conor McGregor fan. But God, he has a body of work you can't argue with.
Yeah, he got a resume that can back up, just like I'm not a Kobe fan. I hate Kobe. I'm more of a Jordan fan.
Okay.
I thought Kobe, I always think till this day, he's a fake Jordan or want to be Jordan,
Yeah.
I never liked him. His numbers, phenomenal.
Crazy numbers.
Rings, scoring titles, MVPs. I don't like him. But as a player, I can't fucking tell him he ain't who he is. He's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Tom Brady too. Yeah. Can't stand him.
Huge Patriots fan over here.
Oh my God, I'm a Dolphins. I can't talk. I'm Dolphins. He laughed.
Your Dolphins fucked me last week. I had them beating the fucking Jets.
Yeah.
I had them beating the Jets. I had some money on that game. Sons of bitches.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They fail me every week. But yeah, Tom Brady, dude, hate him with a passion. His numbers don't lie. So like you said, I don't put nothing on Young Thug or whatever the case. Don't like his music, but he's a smart businessman. He knows how to handle his money. Fashion, whatever. He got different ventures. It just ain't music. Like you said, it's fashion. Probably got other stuff, but whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I think, and like we said, it's like to know what you like is very important, and not to be able to not switch up, because I think it's important for people to kind of switch and like try different things.
Of
like
course.
I don't think it's for everyone to like copy and paste what is that. I think it's good to try, because like you never know what you're good at. Like I tell a lot of people like who do music, it's like you might not ever be the artist you want to be, but because you've put all this time in the music industry, sitting in a studio, you might see to yourself like, I don't like this studio because X, Y, and Z. I don't like the flow. I don't like the setup.
Right.
I don't like the vibe because it's too dimly lit.
Right.
And you might be a beautiful studio like manager, designer, owner, right? You might have gone to a million different events and you're like, I know the lighting has to be good. I know it needs to be free flowing. I know there needs to be X, Y, and Z. The music can't be too loud, but it can't be too quiet.
Low, right.
You might be a perfect event planner. Like where you start is not where you finish.
Oh, for sure.
You see a lot of these athletes are able to evolve after their careers, and I think even with people that haven't done what they've set out to do, I think you take that knowledge and you flip it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people feel defeated after years of not being able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like it hurts your ego. You know, you kind of like you when you get to a point where you can't do or perform at your highest level, you kind of get set back. For instance, I played collegiate ball. I blew my knee out in 2009. I went to go play ball, and ever since then, I really can't move. I'm a very avid basketball player, but ever since I blew that, my knee has been like, I've been real reserved. I got a kid, I got a daughter, I got another daughter on the way.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm trying to certain things I know I can't do, but I don't let that get to me. How you get to a certain age where you play ball and you get to that age, you're like, I'm not gonna do that as much as I want to. I can't move like I was when I was 25, So a couple of injuries will slow you down. But mentally, I still play ball a little bit. But when I get on the court with these young guys and they zipping right past me, I don't get discouraged, But at the same time, it's like, damn, like, I want to get back in shape. But like I said, it's it all depends on how you take it. If you really can't perform the way you want to perform, you do the other things, as far as like.
So as you go through, playing collegiate ball, a lot of people, like, especially just like ball players, take an injury and might like fall into a stint of depression. Did you go through that? Like, because you playing ball, regardless of like what league or division you're in, I think a ball at collegiate level is difficult to do. You know what I mean? So how did you deal with that?
A whole lot of video games. I ain't gonna even lie. Whole lot of video games and physical training. But mentally, I had to. I had my teammates with me, so they was always there for me through the whole, the injury and the rehab. So next year we good. Next year I got you. It's always, that good support, and that's what really got me through it. Okay. And then when my doctor told me, you might not be able to move it, like you used to, but you still be able to play. It's kind of. Mentally you think, oh, I'm not going to do the same moves, but as long as I was able to still play, which was, something I was good with.
Which was important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries at this point after wrestling for 4+ years. And
you wrestle, huh?
Yeah. We did a lot of that. So it's like I'm trying to get back into it. I want to get back into like, jiu-jitsu.
You're still young, bro. You got it.
No, I understand that, but it's like you fall into that place where it's like, am I still at that level?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's like I want to get back to better than I was.
Right.
I think that's what we all do. Even like year to year. Like I could ask you last year, what's your goal? And I could ask you now. It could be completely different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you could have worked on it. So it's like, to me, I want to get back and better because I feel like we're always trying to evolve into this new form.
Of course.
This is what I took the podcast on for, was to evolve myself in a new form, because it's like I have conversations with people like you all the fucking time.
I see.
For an hour, we'll smoke a fucking blunt and have these dope ass conversations, and then we walk away. Who the fuck, you know what I mean? It's like I'll see you next time, like, oh shit, that was a dude I had a dope conversation with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll chop it up again. But it's like I like to document this stuff. You know what I mean? Because this stuff is like, it's to have these opinions from all these people, like the younger generation who's telling me, Thug's one of the most influential people out right now, and for me to like take back and be like, let me not. What is the word I'm looking for? Like, give them let me not like push back on them too much. You know what I mean? Let me hear their opinion, because it might surprise me to the things they give me. Because like, it's these jewels, like the younger generation is always going to set up for the next big thing. Like everyone, when Facebook started, it was for college kids.
Right.
Now it's for old people.
Right.
You know what I mean? People who are on Facebook, I'm
Evolved.
just, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, Facebook's an old platform. Just the way people who, you know, looked at MySpace when it was dying out. It's like,
MySpace.
Yeah, it's just like the Friendsters, you know? You know?
Yo.
Throw it back on
you
real
back,
quick.
right? Real back. Yeah.
So it's like these things are like, it would be classified as old people, but now it's like you look at, so it's like, it's good to look at what the young people are doing to be like, you notice that trend being like, oh, these tight clothes are coming back.
Right.
Huh? You know what I mean? And it's good because it's like, as you're older, like your age, you probably can see the next thing coming before I would be able to. You know what I mean? So it's coming right back around.
Right back around like a circle, like you said. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have change. It's good to see things come about. You know, certain things. It's good to see certain things come back and get back into the whole, you know, cypher of things as far as like, you know, culture and diversity and music and shit like that. You know, so I definitely want to see more difference and more diversity in the music, but like just the whole, like I said, my personal opinion, the tight clothes, whatever, that's a fad, and I just, you know, I had conversations with dudes my age, and we laugh at it. You know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and you know, the whole fashion when I was growing up, it was Oliv's, Tube Socks. You know, Reebok Classics, New Balance, you know, everybody had the J's, and now
Nike Cortezes.
Yeah. bro. Nailed it.
I'm old, bro.
You nailed it.
I'm an old head.
You nailed it.
Old head that's secretly 24.
Yeah, the Nike Court. Oh my God. Yeah. Now it's you got to be, you know, Balenciagas and Giuseppe's.
I fucking hate it, man.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have $800 sneakers.
Yeah, I hate it here.
In order and then post it on Instagram, you know, in order for people to like be like, oh, he getting money, or
I don't think, I look at that stuff as like, I can understand people can be into fashion. I really do respect that because it's like, it's something that I like to see. Like when I see like a well put together outfit,
yeah,
I'm just like, that's fucking dope.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That guy looks good. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I should step my game up. But like, I don't care enough at the end of the day, because it's like, to hear someone who goes through it or goes through the steps, like I got these jeans from wherever. I bought these shoes for an outrageous price.
I worked all week to get these sneakers. Yeah, like,
or just like how they put the outfit together, and it's dope that they're able to see that in their visualization of life. You know what I mean? So they look at things a little bit differently, like outfits and stuff. And I'm able to appreciate that. But let me tell you, when people tell me the price they pay for some of these shoes, I look at them like, you guys are, when they say a sucker born every day, you're one of them. You're one of them. $500? Like, yeah. I understand the collectability about it, and people who buy the shoes keep them in the box and be like, in 3 months,
touch them.
In 3 months' time, bro, you call me an idiot, I'm gonna be laughing in your face with hundreds of dollars. Those are the people I respect. But the people who are just wearing them to wear them because they're chasing some image, I think is the stupidest stuff. You know what I mean? Look at fucking Jimi Hendrix, bro. Yeah. Like, let's talk about a pivotal icon. Does not give a fuck about what you think of how to dress. Yep. Wearing the scarves, no shirt, torn jean jacket with the stitches. You know what I mean? I love people who create their own things, and it's like, you know, if they wear designer, you know, whatever.
So how you feel about Kanye with the clothes and the come on
Kanye to me is like, artistly, he's like Mount Rushmore to me. Like, okay, just like creatively, right? Producing beats, to me, there's like, as far as like producers go, he's on a Mount Rushmore as well. Yeah. His albums most of them have stood the test of time. I haven't really got to Jesus is King yet. I'm not a religious person. Yeah, nothing crazy. I've heard that, so it's like, I'm gonna get into it on my time. You know, I was a big Yeezus fan for the pure reason of the production of it. Like, people were hating on it because it was like, oh, this isn't rap, and it's like, it's not rap. You know, it's going to be shoved under the category because this is what people do in corporate America. They're going to shove it under hip hop and R&B. But to me, it was like a beautiful mix of disco, techno, and just like some hardcore rock.
Yeah, he like a melting pot of a whole bunch of
Black
shit.
Skinhead to me was like, just like the ability to just like take drums, breath, and all of that stuff and turn it into like
a song.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, I just don't understand where he heard these things and just threw them together. So to me, he's that. But with the clothes and everything, I just think he's a fraud when it comes to the clothes. Like, you can't tell me you're for the people and then you're gonna put out clothes that look like that for this outrageous price. You know, I get it. Made in America. Great. You know,
nigga wildin', bro. He's wildin'.
But for what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, make something that actually, like, for me, like I said, I'm not there with fashion. So maybe there's 100 fashion designers that are calling him a genius. I'm not in that world. When I look at his clothes, it's just, some of the jackets are fresh. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Some of the jackets, I'm like, this outerwear is crazy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the pants and the sweatshirts,
shirts, yeah,
it's just not my vibe. It's like it's too bland for me. It's too artisty, I'd say. Like, I can see people in fucking in the real nice parts of Brooklyn, you know, the fucking
like Williamsburg Bridge, yeah.
Williamsburg wearing that with the fucking nice matcha latte in their fucking hands, you know what I mean?
Dog, yeah.
I could see them wearing it, but for me, it's like, this is like, I'm not telling him to stay in a lane, because I hate when people do that to artists. Like,
right.
I want him to do whatever he wants creatively, but I understand the creative process is going to come out with a lot of L's. So I think the clothing line, for the most part, has been L's.
Big L.
The shoes, to me, I mean, he obviously has hit something there.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
they're all right. You know, I'm not gonna hate. A
lot of money for them shoes too, man. $850 for some Yeezys, man. That's crazy.
Some of the boots are good, and it's like, if I had it, you know,
right?
Maybe, but this is a big maybe.
Maybe,
you know what I mean? This is a big maybe, because as soon as I have it, I'm gonna invest more into equipment, because this is what I love to do.
Right.
So to me, it's like, I probably won't get them ever. But I can see how people like them. I like the design and stuff like that.
See, I'm the same as you. You said something real particular. You said if you was to get that, you would have to get something in, like, you know, for like equipment. See, if I was to pay $800 for some sneakers, I would feel bad, because I know I could use that to better my studio.
Right.
Shit like that. You know, there's better ways of spending money. Now, if I had like
couple
thousand, whatever, you know, whatever.
Maybe it would have to be several thousand. Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm not an Yeezy fan, but maybe.
So it's like, I look at that stuff, and it's like, I can see it. These last Yeezys, he's gonna release the fucking croc looking mother. I'm just like, listen.
But they'll sell. I'm telling you.
They'll sell
because they're Yeezys.
So yeah.
You know
so it's like, I shrug my shoulders, and I'm like, he's hit some things for me. He's missed others. You know. So I put it up into like, he's going through something creatively. Like, creative people are hard to put a pin on, right?
Yeah.
You look at Steve Jobs, you hear he didn't shower, wore the black tops, you know what I mean? You know, just a weirdo. Like, you know what I mean?
Straight up.
But like, if you he has to be on your Mount Rushmore as far as technology goes.
Fucking genius.
Yeah, he's a genius. So it's like, these people are on another level.
Yeah.
Like, so they're willing to do a million different things and fail at them. And bounce back. You know, I mean, how many times have we, you know, people have written off Kanye West?
I was one of them. I'm not going to even lie. I was.
When did you write him off? Was it with the Trump shit?
A little bit before that. You know, when he was, it might have been at the Trump shit. Yeah, I ain't really like him. But then when the Trump shit hit, it was like, all right, I'm done with this dude.
I can see that being the final straw.
I felt like he's sold out. You know what I mean? Like,
I can see that being the final straw for like a lot of people when he did that. But to me, as soon as I don't care about artists' political beliefs, because they're artists.
Right.
You know what I mean? How much can they understand about politics? They have to be more concerned about their art. They just might like this person's persona. Right. Like,
but you can't go on national television and not know about, you know, the whole Trump is basically doing things that's going against what he's rapping about, you know, like freedom and, you know, whatever the case may be. And then for you to go and promote him and be, you know, make America great again, you ruining your musical career, I feel, as far as like putting yourself in that position with Trump, you know, like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that. I don't really care about not people's political views, because it's like, if you're more of a political pundit, to hear your views because you're more experienced, I might take that a little bit more into consideration. But Kanye West has always been like off the wall. Yeah. Like the George Bush comments, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you know, he's always been like, had an obscure view of politics, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, for him to go and support Trump when everyone's saying fuck Trump doesn't surprise me. You know what I mean? He's just being who he thinks he can be. You know, has he made outlandish comments? Absolutely. But again, he's a fucking artist. Right. He lives in Hollywood. He's married to one of the most powerful women to ever exist. You know what I mean? Like, literally.
The
like,
Kardashians is different, dude.
They're $1 billion family. You know, so it's like, am I gonna like be? Oh, what is he like? Come on, look at his lifestyle.
Right.
When was the last time he was in a house without like recessed lighting? You know what I mean? Like shit's in the walls already. Speaker. Like when was the last time he cooked on not marble countertops?
Right.
You know what I mean?
When was the last time he cooked?
Yes, exactly. So it's like you look at all these things and it's like those things are just not. It's just weird to me because it's like you look at other, like Muhammad Ali, like a lot of people talk shit about him when he didn't want to join the army to go to Vietnam, and that was his political views, and then laws were created around that so that, you know, because of your religious views you don't have to go and serve the military.
Right.
But at the time he was getting, you know, traitor to the country, this, that, and the third. So
thrown in prison if he was
thrown in prison. So and there's a lot of people that believe. I've met people now that still call Muhammad Ali a coward. I've met people in 2019 to say after Vietnam, a war that has been like tarnished the U.S., you know,
foolishness,
you know, just a bunch of foolishness, something we shouldn't have never been involved in, right? And still calling him a coward. Like you're talking about the greatest, possibly one of the greatest heavyweight boxers to ever live,
right? And
he wanted to box. He didn't want to fight a war. He had no reason to go over and do.
As it was his beliefs. He didn't want to do it. And to call him a coward is kind of like
and he served time in jail. Like he could have been and just stayed face and went into the military, right? And not stood up for what he believed in. But how can you call a man a coward who then goes into prison for multiple years
for not doing
stripped
something?
Stripped of his title, stripped of his everything. You know what I mean?
Everything he worked hard for,
losing tons of money in endorsements, and he's a coward.
Yeah,
the things surprise me. You know.
That's the world today, you know. Like some people, everybody have their own opinion, you know, but like they, not Muhammad, man, not Muhammad.
Yeah, I can see the argument like with other people. Maybe most recently Cap, like, you know what I mean. I could see your arguments there because of like the social media posturing, right? Like there's a lot of posturing going on in that situation where it's like the media is gonna say one thing, your camp's gonna say one thing. I don't know what's real anymore, so I'm just gonna like stay back, like
stay neutral.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You got a job, that's great. If you don't, I don't know.
Whatever.
You know what I mean? Like you're fucking Colin Kaepernick. You're like one of the most influential people in sports. Nike's paying you $1 trillion. Like you'd be fine, kid.
Right. You ain't even like get on the team yet. You still get paid.
My emotions to that situation are so detached. Like I see people going off on it on Facebook and Instagram, and it's like, bro, the guy's still a millionaire.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? He still has endorsements out there.
Regardless.
The yin yang. Like, so it's like, great, you know? It's just weird. You know, we live in a weird time where everything has to... People are more afraid to be themselves than ever before.
Oh, it's a facade.
You know what I mean? People are afraid to start from zero. Like when I started this podcasting, I took and I'm being real.
Right.
I took a real look at trying to buy some followers because I had like in the beginning of the year like less than 200 followers. I was like, I was never a popular person on social media. I was never a popular person in school. I just knew everybody. You know what I mean? I just stayed to myself.
Sound like me.
Yeah. So
just know everybody. Right.
But I had to like look at it, and then I was like, nah, I'm just gonna build it naturally. You know,
why
Why should I care how many people are following me on a social media platform? If I'm doing this for me,
they will follow.
You know what I mean? I'm doing it for me. You know, if I'm doing it for other people, I got to be honest with myself and say I'm doing it for other people.
Right.
And it took me a while to get to that point, but I saw like some of my friends that did it, and I'm like, how are you keeping track? Like, how do you know what's real? You know what I mean?
Right.
At the end of the day, you bought these things, and now how are you going to keep track of
what you brought
and the value you bring and what works and what doesn't work?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like lying to yourself.
Hey, 'cause I was just about to say that. You fooling nobody but yourself. You know, you can buy all these followers, you can buy all these likes and all that, you know, but at the end of the day, you paying to big up yourself, you know, and I'm glad you didn't do that because I know a lot of dudes right now that go and they buy streams, views, all that. It's not generic, and you can't call yourself an artist. I feel you can't call yourself an artist if it's not generic. If you gotta buy like we just put this album out last month and probably got about 100-something streams. Am I mad? No.
As you should be.
They're organic streams. Yeah. I didn't pay nobody to stream my shit. We got a couple of people who brought the album, you know, shout out to them. But at the same time, like, we're not paying for something to get back to us, you know. Whatever we put out is generic You know, and that's what's fucking up the whole culture today. You know, people, you watching shit, and I'm seeing on the news and even on YouTube, I watch how some of these record companies and these labels, to get their artists more streams, you know, they got like what 30 iPods or iPhones, and they're just
yeah.
You know, like
and it's like why do you think people are so scared to fail?
I think because they worried about what other people gonna say. You know, you put on this facade on Instagram or social media. You know, you're doing this, you're making this money. You got this. You're in these you know, sneakers and stuff like that. So if you fail at doing that, once those posts or those likes start coming in, it's like, oh, he used to do this, or you know, he was wearing this. He was doing good, and then you fall, and then it's like, oh, what happened? And then you can't keep up. People fail, they feel like they can't keep up. Yeah. You know, and you get discouraged. If, like I said, you got to learn how to take L's. If you can't take an L and bounce back, then you shouldn't be in the game.
And I think it's more than, you know, people, you know, there's a bunch of like motivational people that'll say like, life doesn't suck, it's just the way you look at it. And I look at it I look at it like life fucking sucks. Yeah. There are small points in life where they're just like the super high points in your life. Right. You know what I mean? And we work for those points, you know what I mean? But the rest of the time it's really head down grind.
Shitty.
You know what I mean? No one wants to wake up at whatever time you wake up and go to your fucking job. No one wants to have to cook, you know, late at night after they get home, you know? Right. No one wants to do this stuff, but it's like you have to understand the steps it takes to get to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And it's like a lot of these people think it's like life is supposed to be good and happy all the time. Like, you don't have to be sad about it. I'm not saying like you should put your head down and be like, life fucking sucks.
Yeah, fuck this shit. Yeah.
But I'm saying like you should realize that your work is going to pay off for these high moments.
Exactly.
These high value moments. And like as you become more successful, you have to realize these high value moments become less and less. I mean, look at what Drake did in the beginning of the decade, right?
Yep.
And look at the point he is now. He has his own private airliner. Yeah. You know what I mean? But what's a high point for that guy?
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's still going.
You know, exactly. So it's like he is going to have to do so much more work and put out such more content and better stuff to reach the next high point, which who knows? I mean, you have an airliner. I mean, what's the next?
Sky's the limit. Literally.
Know what I mean, he could have any woman in the world. Like, how does he get excited for things? This is what I wonder.
Right.
It's like anywhere you go, it's probably like the hotel is paid for. You know, everything's paid for. You have money for generations. The best house I've ever seen in like Toronto and around the world. Right. You know, airliner. You know, just like a fantastic life. So it's like, to me, it's like for this guy to be like, not happy, but to hit that high point, it has to be a super high point.
But when is enough? Like, is there ever enough? Is there ever a cap on money? You ever think about that? Like, you ever think about
I do,
how much is enough? Like, I don't need no more than, all I need is 100. You know, if I had one wish, I need 134 million. Like, why that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why that amount of money? You know, like,
I think there was a Wall Street movie, and I think it was like the first Wall Street with Charlie Sheen, where I think he said, how much would it be? And he's like, what? To walk away. Like, what's your number? What would your number be? To walk away. Like, to be happy, I don't have to work another day in my life. My family's taken care of until my sister, you know, generations down the road. What's your number?
My number for that, if I'm thinking long term, I'm going to go with, I'll go with like an easy 100 million. I'm not going to even lie, because I wouldn't know how to invest it. 100 million, I'll take $100,000 and put that in the bank, and then you get interest. You get 10,000. You know, you just gotta learn how to play with your money. See, some people get a whole lot of money and they just spend it. You know, it just goes everywhere. My mother died. Quick story. My mother died. Left me about 20,000 10 years ago. I put it away. Didn't touch it.
Wow, that takes a lot of discipline.
A little bit, but at the same time, it was hard. You know, I took I went to Disney World. You know, did a little bit of that, but put it away. Didn't touch it. That's put it away. It's certain things. Couple, like, you know, if I didn't have a kid, I wanted to put it away. But if I didn't have a kid, I probably would have splurged. You know, that's just me. It's just difference. You know, so I'm just trying to. And as far as like the money situation, like I'm just real delicate as far as like trying to save and.
But as far as the point you brought up, like, when is enough?
Right.
It's like I don't know because I look at it and it's like, if I had 100 million and I had all this success, what do I want more?
What more is there? Right.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I have a son right now, and like spending time with him is very crucial to me. So I probably spend a lot more time with him.
How old is he?
Though he's gonna be 7 in March.
Okay.
So he's 6 right now.
Okay.
Big motherfucker. real tall, real skinny.
That's what's up.
He's growing fast, but I think. But at that time, when I make that money, because foreseeably 100 million or more is gonna come not in 10 years, but probably a little bit longer.
Of course.
Let's be realistic. So to me, it's like he probably wouldn't want to hang out with me at that time anyways, because he's going to be 16, 17. He wants to be with his friends, do his thing.
Right.
So I think about it in the sense of like building stuff. Like I like building stuff, whether it's a business, a brand. I've found myself entertained in trying to do this stuff, learning.
Right.
I think, new skills. I've gone down a fucking rabbit hole recently for poker videos. Like I've been watching a lot of hands of poker. And to me, it's interesting because I'm a big chess fan. Love playing chess.
I play chess too.
Yeah. Chessboard right over there.
Okay.
So I look at that and it's like, it's so interesting because I feel like it's reading people, emotions, math, body language. And I'm like, oh, this game is way deeper than just betting.
Right.
Like it's more than just luck.
Right.
The more cards that come out and the flop the river and the rest of it is like, oh, like you're doing math in your head, like what can he possibly have?
That could beat me, right?
His mouth twitched when he looked at his cards. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? And
language
like he's
and all
looking
that.
at them, and it's like this is human chess. Like you're trying to read.
I didn't
somebody.
even think about it like that. For real.
Yeah, so it's like you're sitting in a casino. They're trying to, and you're looking at a guy across the table just flip his chips, and it's like, is this a calm move? Is he thinking and just picking up information? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Doing a heavy bet and seeing if he calls. Is he being aggressive? And it's like. And I've just found this obsession where it's like I've always liked this. I've always had a good read on people, I think.
Right.
To tell, genuine, just being if they're genuine, if they're hiding, not hiding, but just being a little bit nervous. Are they, what's going on up here?
Right. I
do that with my friends a lot just to be like, just to look, because it's like a lot of this information is available. Like just like you meet somebody, like the information is in front of you.
Right.
It's how you are able to draw
break
it out
it
of
down.
someone. You know what I mean? When you're negotiating with someone about a price of something, to see how fidgety they get and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so he's nervous. Why is he nervous? Maybe you shouldn't try and close the deal right there. Maybe you should make the conversation go a little bit
extended.
See if we can either calm him down, see if there's a reason he's nervous. Let's get some more information and keep going with that. So it's like, it's interesting to me, like these people who are able to do interrogations and the rest of it. And it's like, so these people know people. And I think that's just like a thing that is getting a little bit lost with the internet, right? Because like everyone, like you said, is kind of like a facade. This is what I want you to see.
This is what you need to see.
Even when the stuff I put out is the stuff that are the best moments of the podcast, or what I think are the best moments. It's not the moments of, dead air or the awkward transition or something like that. That's not me complaining.
Right.
These are not things that I would want to put out, but these things do happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, but with the internet, it's hard to tell. This person's posting picture after picture of being traveling, cars, the rest of it, but he might have $0 in his bank account. His wife could have divorced him over some bullshit. And he's going through it. It's
usually how it happens.
And it's when we talk about being genuine, I think like to share these things that go through your head is important to just the general world. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, like I hear some people talk about fatherhood and the way, they think about it. Like a lot of my friends who have baby mothers have a terrible fear. They wouldn't call it a fear of another man being in their lives. And they get aggressive about it. And it's like, has anything happened? Was there a bad incident? Did your sons tell you something happened?
Right.
No? Oh, so you're just being jealous is what's happening, right? Like, and it's like, if there's another man willing to be in your son's life and like just be there, you know what I mean? And not be shitty towards your child, you should be ecstatic.
Ecstatic, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like ecstatic.
Right.
Like there shouldn't be any negativity towards that person because it's like,
I'm in that situation.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm in that situation. And
so how do you deal with it?
As far as my first daughter, my daughter's mother, she got remarried, and she had another kid with him. But that was a 4-year gap between that happened. So they was together, for a couple of years. But, seeing my daughter with him is not, it doesn't make me jealous or envious or even like mad. It just, like me and my wife talk about this all the time. It's more love, like me and my wife will go out with my daughter's mother and her husband. We talk, we got the kids, whatever the case may be. It's more of love. So as far as me and him or seeing my daughter with him, doing things, it doesn't make me mad. The only thing that probably would make me mad is if he felt the need to do more daddy duties than I would. And that's not the situation. Like, we had that talk. So, but
that's key, because you had that conversation.
We had that conversation.
A lot of people, like my friends, won't have these conversations with the opposing male. They're like they have this idea that's going to try and take their child.
You have to, though.
You have to have these conversations. Like, people are afraid of confrontation.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And that's crazy to me. Like, I understand confrontation, like physical confrontation can be intimidating.
Right.
That's why I wrestled for so many years. It's like, I'm not scared, but like, I'm not, if it gets to a physical point, it gets to a physical point. But it's just like, to me, it's like, there's so many outs before then. Like, you really
is that the first route you want to do? Like,
yeah, you know what I mean? That's like 10, 12 routes down the way. Like, you know what I mean? You really have to say some fucked up shit for me to come out of character.
Right.
For me to like really be aggressive.
Same way.
You know what I mean? So
Same
it's
way.
like, you have to do everything wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything
across
in the
board.
Yeah, for me to be like that. So it's like, to me, it's like, why not have the conversation? Like,
you have to.
Like, it might, you guys might come from the same exact fucking place.
Right.
You know what I mean? He might be thinking the same shit you were thinking and be like, yo, bro, I just want to, clarify, I'm dad, I'm trying to do these things. You know what I mean? I appreciate you being there. I've had this conversation with some of my son's mother's boyfriends, and it's just like, I just don't understand the need for hostility, you know?
You never was in a situation where you feel you had to step in with one of the boyfriends because it was. You don't have to go in.
No,
but
I've had conversations with them. More along the lines of like me texting my son's mother and them getting angry about it. It's like, yo, I'm not trying to. Yeah. I'm not trying to do anything. Like, it's my son's mother, and I'm gonna be here forever. Right. Basically, like, what I mean? You stuck with me, nigga. Yeah. Like, my son's gonna have kids, and we're gonna be at their
graduations and all that other shit.
So it's like, you're gonna see me
all the time,
forever.
Bro. Deal with it.
And to me, it's like, I'm not that type of person to be like, to look you in the face and try and do something facetious behind your back, like, get my son's mother back. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't work out. I gotta let that shit go. Right. You know what I mean? See? Like, that shit's under the bridge. Like, you're great to my son. He talks nothing but nice about you. Right. Why on earth would I be angry or try and like go behind the back and ruin something great? There's someone who's there that's great. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. Like, there are so many shitty dads that are just shitty dads.
You ain't lying. Fuck you, shitty dads out there too, man.
It's fucking crazy, man.
That's crazy. I know. Yeah.
And you look at it and it's like, I'm nothing but grateful for some of these situations. It's hard to deal with it when you first get into it because you have your friends in it like, fuck that shit. You know what I mean?
Get that nigga, man. Nigga around your kid. He out there calling him daddy and shit. Getting in your head. I already know. Yeah. I already know.
You have to be good with yourself. Yeah, it comes down
self-control. You gotta know your situation. My advice was just, like I said, just talk. You gotta communicate. You gotta talk to them. You gotta let the other person know, like, listen, this is what I'm doing. I don't need you to do this. I'm here for this. I'm glad you're here. If you have a good communication and a good agreement, everything will be all right. Mm-hmm. Everything works out. You just got to communicate.
It's also funny, like, the generational differences. Like you said, like, before it was like everything happened in person. Every fucking scenario happened face to face. Right. And as these things came into the fucking picture, everyone is tough behind these things.
Yeah, keyboard think gangsters and all that, man.
Yeah, and it's like, it's crazy because it's like, I don't know if it's the technology or the times are changing or the rest of it, but it's so weird to try and have a back and forth with somebody. Yeah. Like, it's more disconnected where it's like, I'm not sure how to say it. Like, I feel disconnected from a lot of, like, maybe the younger generation or people who are just more involved in, like, posting everything on social media. I just don't get that. Like, who wants to hear you complain? Like, if it's a justified complaint,
bro,
like, get off. Like, chill out. Like, what made you type this complaint out and, like, you delete it? Like, you were just like, post. Like, I'm just gonna post what I fucking...
Right. You know what else I hate? And I'm glad you tapped in on that. And this for everybody out there. If certain things shouldn't be put on social media.
100%.
You know, if you have a fist fight with your baby mama, or you kicked your mother-in-law in the titty or something, whatever, you don't put that on Facebook. You know, you put good things on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't put shit like that. If you're having a bad day, or if, you know, like, you know, yesterday I seen my dude put up, very good friend of mine, I'm not gonna put him on blast, but he put some shit up about him and his baby mama and how they going through it, and spilled the whole beans about the fight they had the night before. You know, so the whole internet knows what scratches, you know, what her scratch is, you know, how you hit her. You know, it's stupid shit. You can't be doing that shit. Some shit shouldn't just be put on the internet, you know. And when I post stuff, I like to post positive stuff. You know, I'm not saying my life is perfect. I'm not saying, you know, no bad things happen, but
you try to give out good energy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put, you know, if I'm having a bad day, you know, fuck today, that dude. I don't do that. I'm putting out good energy only. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel like the internet fails sometimes, because people, instead of talking face to face, they wanna, I'm gonna put, you know, and it's, you're not getting nothing out of that, you know. And some people want that because they're, cry me a river. And, I'm so sorry.
I don't understand. I've not seen one problem that's been solved over social media or you know, anything like that.
So attention.
Yeah, it's just like, what problem is you putting out your problems that you're having at home? What part of that's going to be solved over? So, like, are you going to be like, you're right? You know what I mean?
Right.
I've rarely seen someone.
That's what they want, though. That's what people want. Oh, you right, man. Fuck that bitch. Nah, you know, like, then be like, I feel better now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. So let's get into, like, you said you had a business. You know, you had a record label, and you're trying to do this Cypher stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what is that about? How'd you get into that?
Well, the record label is Underrated Music. I got a couple of dudes up in Lake Placid with me: Flubs, Ray, Tone, Be Easy, Be Cool, Havoc. You know, we got a couple of dudes. Madhouse Cyphers is something I brought actually a year ago from my dude Trevor. It was it's just a kind of an Adirondack-based kind of group of kids or guys, you want to say, that, you know, just bringing them together and trying to rap together and stuff. I brought it, and I'm trying to expand it out of the Adirondacks. So that's why I'm here talking to you. And, you know, I'm out here in Albany. I went to Massachusetts. I went to Vegas, you know, just expanding the whole thing. And I'm just basically looking to get a couple of guys, mainly in New York, but I'm expanding later, you know, just to test the waters. You know, I'm trying to meet new people and trying to build my business like that. And
so Madhouse Cyphers, what is I'm assuming it's a cipher, like multiple people.
Multiple people. Like, I'll try to get 4 to 6 people. I get a beat from multiple producers. I got like 5 producers I can call.
Now, is there an audience that's involved, or are you doing these at like a venue, or are you just trying to record these and put them out on YouTube?
Oh, I set up the venue. You know, I got to go to bars. I usually have like a couple of venues I go to. You know, bars, or I went to the base in Plattsburgh, New York. You probably don't know about that. It's a big air base. But I have to go to actually speak to the venue owners. Set it up. They'll give me like a price. I'll pay like $50. Some of them just let me rock out. You know, I bring customers and stuff. You know, and then I might have like a little, like a get together party.
Right.
You know, come through, and, you know, they'll get their $5 at the door. You know, everything works where it works. But I usually have to talk to the venue person and set it up. And I try to do one every other month to keep it fresh. You know, new people, new city. I got Schenectady, and, you know, I'm trying to shoot one in Schenectady next month. So talk to a couple people around here. So trying to get it going. You know, it's just all got to crawl before you walk. No.
So what are some like pivotal ciphers that you've listened to that like really like that are like that's a classic?
Pivotal ciphers.
Like for me, one of the BET ciphers, was that really like made me expand on rap was Lupe Fiasco, Redman, and fucking.
Oh, you talking about one? Yeah.
Yeah, the game is the belly of the beast.
Yeah,
blunts for tinkers and hollow tips for teeth. The way he just described that whole thing was crazy, and I was like, oh, this is like storytelling. That's what really brought in storytelling for me, because I'm like, oh, this is without a doubt one of the most descriptive stories I've heard. And then to follow it up, for me, it was like the Slaughterhouse Cyphers with Eminem.
Okay.
Number one was amazing, because that's where I got introduced to Joe Budden. And
oh shit.
Yeah, so I'm not a big Joe Budden fan in rap.
Right.
I'm a bigger Joe Budden fan in the content he puts out now.
Right.
So I love how he transformed himself.
Big time he did.
But the second one, the Slaughterhouse Cypher, where they just went around the country and they were rapping, and I was just like, oh, this is more than just, to me, it was like, I like the visual aspect to it. Like, I think they killed it with the visual. Yeah. I think they killed it with the cipher. Crooked Eye, like, and that really just like, I was like, oh, Crooked Eye is really just is everything. Right. He's able to just
switch it up and do what he do. Yeah.
So it's like, to me, those were 3 rap ciphers to me that were just like, damn, that's crazy. I'm
more of the like the BET rap ciphers. It was the one that had Jewels on. I'm a big Jewel Santana fan. I'm from Harlem, so that was one of the best ciphers. But basically, I think what really got me into liking ciphers was, you remember The Basement?
Of course, 106 Park in the Basement. That shit pisses me off about BET. It's like, yo, you gotta bring stuff like that back.
Right, Big Tigger, shit like that.
Big Tigger was that man, bro.
Right.
That shit was hilarious.
I used to watch that. He had everybody in the basement,
bro.
Santana
with the
big ass bandana and
with
the
big brick of money. Yeah, that shit was fire with that Jay-Z beat where he was just, man, that shit was.
Shit was crazy. My nigga L's.
Yeah, man.
But like shit like that, like that just makes me like, those are like one of the best kind of ciphers, and those are the times I remember.
Those are classic ciphers. Like when Wayne was in there and Birdman puts the rag over the mic. I was like, yo, this is crazy right now.
I kiss my daddy.
Yeah, Jewel's on there. That's where I was introduced to really, like, I knew Bird Gang and the rest of it, and I know who, like, Jewel Santana was. Right. But I didn't know his skill in rapping until I really started listening to some of the ciphers and some of his freestyles, and it's like, oh, this is the Fab. This is where, like, kind of, like, it took from Fab, you know what I mean? Because I didn't realize how old Fab was. Yeah. Like, this son, he kills people, I don't know, sacrifices Illuminati. That nigga doesn't age.
Fab, yo.
That nigga doesn't age.
Black don't crack, my nigga.
I look at him and I'm just like, yo, he's 40 what?
Yeah.
40 what?
Yeah.
I was like, he's almost as old as Jay-Z.
They look in 2000, you still you do a pick, and he looked the same. Nigga don't age for shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And his balls neither. His balls are still on point, boy.
Right, so it's that's that New York City style that it was like, oh, I didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand Kiss until, you started listening to his freestyles where he's talking about the drug game. And I'm just like, oh, like, a lot of people would, like, at the time tell me, like, yo, it's Young Jeezy. That's the... to me, it was like, Jeezy was good. Don't get me wrong. All respect to the Snowman. Right. But to me, it was Kiss. You know what I mean? Talking about that real fucking...
That Yonkers shit, man.
That Yonkers shit, man.
That Yonkers shit.
That shit's heavy.
Kiss, like I said, he's top 5 to me. I was a big Lox fan, and we talked about this earlier, like, you got to learn how to change up from speaking about the guns and drugs, but that's all he knew. But everything he wrote about, whether it was shooting, it was fire because you can relate to him. He lived it. Yeah. He know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and people out here, they rap the shit and it's not believable. You can't be living in Adirondacks talking about you got AKs and busting guns. And
you probably do have AKs, but you're hunting deer.
You're not. Exactly. You're not out here robbing to eat and shit like that, like people had to do, so.
People talk about what they went through, and I think that's a good thing. And I think, like, people who don't switch up, like Kiss, is like, you just know he lived that life, and he probably still knows what goes on in the streets to a pretty, like, massive extent.
But he switched it up. He got the juice shop now, so now he's not selling drugs. He took all that, and him and Styles got a juice bar all over the city. So like you said, you take that money and you just do something different. You got to evolve. That's the key word today. Evolve.
Yeah, you gotta be able to flip it. And that's the thing with a lot of, like, the thing that's sad to me is being able to see people with great talent not being able to flip their talent.
Right.
And not being able to like go through it. Like you see some of these people, you know, like I think the most recent one I was reading about is like Lizzo. You know, 8-9 years of doing what she was doing before she got on. You know what I mean? Like writing fire tracks after fire tracks, recording, you know, doing performances and the rest of it, and then she pops. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that willpower to drag through the mud for
give up after a couple of years.
After almost a
decade though,
to grind, and all of a sudden now you're on. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, those are the people, like people just look at the overnight success. Like that song hit. They don't see the 10 years to work for that overnight success.
Like Little Nas X type song. Right.
You know what I mean? Not what we would say a cup of tea, but that guy is smart. He used a trendy video game, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
Made a fucking meme type song. That shit blew up right in his face. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm nothing but happy for that guy.
I'm not knocking him at all. I think he's the smartest kid out in the game right now. You know, as far as like, dude's making millions. Billy Ray Cypher, come on, man. Come on.
That's what I said. As soon as he got him on the track, I was like, oh, well, he figured that one out quickly.
The whole spectrum of just went, you know, like it ain't rap no more. It's just.
And that's the thing that pissed me off, is because then we fall into this like thing we brought up earlier about the genres. They were just like, it's not country.
Right.
It's like, who the fuck is this person who's just like the judge? Is like, nope,
not country.
Nope, not hip hop. Nope, not 90s. I know what I'm talking about here. Don't fuck with me.
Right.
It's like, it just makes me upset, because it's like, I don't like to put race into anything really, because I feel like that's just like, to me, it's like an out. Like, you know what I mean? For some arguments, definitely. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely that proponent. Like, we're talking about police brutality. That proponent is heavily in the middle. You know what I mean? But if we're talking about like the majority of stuff, I try to bring race in at the last.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, all right, let's talk about this now, and let's talk about like the other external forces that could have gone better to make something go the way you wanted it to go. Like, I feel like putting a lot of people, especially now, will just cop out at race. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people like that talk about maybe Trump's policies don't understand politics in the full way.
Right.
Like, to me, like, a lot of people start blaming the guy who's at the helm, right? So it's Donald Trump. But don't understand like the 10 offices that are managed underneath him,
below him,
that are making these rules and laws, and he's the last person to know about it. You know what I mean?
He's just the face of it.
You know what I mean? And then he gets blamed. So there's no one blames Becky and fucking Lauren. Lauren out doing like in Law Room 6. You know what I mean? Who drafted this bill?
Right.
You know what I mean? No one's looking at them. It's Donald J. Trump, who's the fucking person,
face of the United States.
So it's interesting to me to like, you know what I mean? This is the person we go after. That's the person we need. And it's just, to me, it's like, do you understand? Or is there other possibilities than race that he or this administration would do something? I will take into account race.
Right.
But I just think like we can tackle 10 different obstacles
better than that
before we get to that. And
True.
A lot of people will just throw, oh, he's racist.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, you're just going to throw that in the pot? Like the fucking 20 years of him working with black people before.
Did not count.
The thing that pisses me off the most, right? He's racist, right?
Right.
Like he has all this tapes about him saying unbelievable shit about women and Mexicans and the rest of it.
Right.
No one can catch this guy saying nigger.
Right.
Not one tape, not one thing.
And if he did, and I'm pretty sure he said it thousands of times if he did, right.
But that's my point. Right. No one has this guy on recording. You got him saying grab him by the pussy, but you can't
call him saying nigga.
Yeah. Exactly. With a bunch of his friends at a golf course, no one got a wire to hear him.
Let's be for real, right?
Like you're trying to sink him in impeachment, and you can't get me an N-word out of him. These niggas crazy. Get me something, man.
Give me something.
Like, there's no racist person on this planet that can resist saying the N-word when pressed even a little bit.
Right. Nah, that's a fact, my dude.
Like, you can see white people wanting to say that. I remember
thirsty.
I lived in another part of Rensselaer where this white guy was my neighbor. And I was shoveling snow, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking, and just... He comes up to me. He's like, yeah, the owner of your apartment, I don't want to say it, but I don't know how else to say it. He's a real nigger. And I'm just like, and he's like, don't get mad at me. He's like, I got something that's black, and they call me.
I hate that shit.
And I'm just I'm like, the guy who owns the fucking apartment is Italian. You call him a nigger? He's Italian. dying.
He's done. He's done.
He's dying. You know what I mean? Well, fucking prosciutto. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, so that person just couldn't wait to me. Like, the person who has a little melanin in their skin, he was like, I need to say
I gotta tell you this.
But you can't. Yeah, exactly.
I hate that shit.
You can't get Donald Trump saying that shit. Pisses me off.
Right.
Yeah, he's a racist, and I'm just like, he might be. I don't know. When you get to that point of being rich, you know, I'm sure I'll be a little racist too. Like, make sure the cleaning woman's Mexican. I don't trust white people cleaning my house. I don't trust white people
cleaning my shit no more, man. I don't need a Mexican lady.
I need a Mexican lady that I pay. That's what I want to do, is like be like that boss and that rich person that just like pays unbelievably. Like, just, you know what I mean? Just like, yeah, take it.
$1,000. Yeah, if you got Trump money, $1,000 a week is nothing, you know, like whatever it is. But it is what it is, you know. Yeah.
So to get back on the ciphers, right?
Right.
So what do you? So you do an event. So do you do visuals as well for the ciphers?
Yeah, I do visuals. I got a couple of videographers. You know, I usually try to tell them what kind of ciphers seem to have this one kind of visual where it's just a group of people standing in one spot and just going left and right, you know, back to back to back. In the past couple of months, I'm trying to break that, you know, so I'm trying to do more like a music video type was different, you know, everybody got their own scene.
Locations.
Yeah, you
that's
know.
like the Slaughterhouse Cypher, the second one.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I liked it. I was like, I like be able to like, they're not standing in a circle bopping their heads, you know, because like you said, that falls into the stereotypical cipher.
Exactly. You know, I'm just trying to do different shit, you know, like, so my videographers, you know, I got two of them, they know what kind of like atmosphere I want. Like, I'll pick a venue and, you know, it's out of 5 guys, I'll have them follow one guy. You know, everybody got their own little scene, and then we'll have everybody come together for like the main, you know, B-roll type shit. So, you know, I just try to switch it up. You know, I want to do something different. You got to stand out.
I mean, you got to try different things, like we were talking about this whole time. It's like, if you don't try something new, you don't know if it works. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we could do the same Cypher video 1,000,000 times, you know, and the one time you try it, you know, you're going to stand over here, we're going to split it up, you know what I mean? We're going to, you know, try and tell a different story, try and be funny with it or whatever. You know, these things are able to expand. These things started around a fucking lunchroom table with someone just fucking making
boom bap, you know, shit like that.
Like, that's where that shit started for me, and to see the evolvement of it. Like, I think kids still do that today. You know, maybe not in the capacity that we used to, but you know, just creativity, and that's what like really I try to encourage. And like, when, you know, building this platform, other platforms, what we're doing is like we're trying to encourage kids to be, you know, creative and kind of tackle that, because I feel like, you know, especially like you can probably speak to this a lot more, like growing up we just didn't have it.
Not at all.
Like, and now you can make a whole song on your phone. You could get a beat maker, you can record straight into your phone, you can get a SoundCloud account, you can post it. Like, everything has been equalized. Before, like, when
it wasn't that easy.
When you were growing up, I'm sure you had to like really pay for like serious studio time.
It was I mean, it was $50 back in the late 90s was a lot, you know, for me at least, $40, and that was just for an hour. And then I'm going in there with about 3 or 4 dudes, and we're trying to get in a song for an hour with 5 dudes. You know, it's kind of hard. We ain't had no money, you know what I'm saying? So we all put our little $40 together, we go in there, and you know, you got to do it just like that, but it's
and then you build a tape to try and give it to someone to see if you can put it out there.
And it's not even this. It wasn't. It was CDs.
Yeah, you had to hand someone a CD. Hope they brought it to their boss. To play it, to maybe get on the radio.
Take you 10 minutes to burn one CD, and you got like 50 CDs you want to burn, so it's taking you half a day to burn the CDs to get out to sell it. You know, it was the whole hustle was way different back then. Now you just go download, you press download, and the whole world know your shit. You know, people get away from that.
Do you think people are? What I've said to a lot of people, a lot of artists, is like, what I observe is like, I think a lot more artists are lacking patience, because before you would have to go and build this album, these songs, because it takes so much time, because the technology's not there to get it, and then you listen to it and you might say, yeah, no, you know, you sit on it for some time. Now it's like everyone wants to just put something out because they think it's, you know, I'm trying to get a hit out, you know what I mean? And I don't see the patience where it's like, you know, on average, you're going to suck for 5 years. You know what I mean? Your shit's not going to be good for 5 years or more, because you got to find your voice. Like, a lot of people will, not because it's on purpose, I think a lot of people do it in everything. Like you said, Kobe's a carbon copy of Jordan. Because you take styles that inspire you, and then you try to morph it into your voice.
Of course.
You know, because it's like, it's just what happens. Like Kobe took Jordan's style and then morphed it slightly into being his own style.
Yeah, that's exactly what musicians do. You know, me personally, I did it Fab. I like Fab and Kiss. I kind of took both of them, and I got like that grit. You know, like you kind of whatever style I feel you get is from the person you like look up to. You know, like shit like that. Like you said, you take both of those, you kind of melt it and make it into you, but a little bit something better, more personal. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I 100% agree. But I'm happy that you like took the time to get out here.
Yeah.
To tell us what you were doing, because like, and just like tell us your story, because it's like a lot of people, you know, it's hard to tell your story over social media, Facebook and Instagram. Facts. You know what I mean? Like to put your experiences out there, because, you know, it's hard to think people care. You know what I mean? It's hard to imagine like you going through the same thing as somebody else. Like someone might, you know, I went through that shit too, and it's like, you don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, so I think, you know, being able to talk about it and just like expressing yourself is a dope format, and it's dope to see what you're doing. I hope you continue what you're doing. You know, you said you have a Cypher in Schenectady. When is that?
Yeah, we got a Cypher coming up. I'm doing it mid-January. Trying to come mid-January. I'm going to meet my guys out there in Schenectady, Troy area.
How do people contact you if they want to be in the Cypher?
You can hit me, and my email is wildwoods, WILDWOODZ, the number 5 at iCloud.com. Just hit me, send me a link to your music, whatever your whole discography or whatever music you got, and we can make it happen, you know?
That's dope,
Definitely make it happen.
That's dope. I'm glad you were able to come through.
I appreciate you having me, my dude.
Everything, your social medias and everything will be linked in the description of this video. Just go check them out, man. You know?
Please. Appreciate that, man.
You know, guy came all the way from fucking Lake Placid to do this shit. He's about getting it done.
Got to.
Yep.
He reached out.
Thank you, everybody. Take it easy.
Bro. Have a good one.